Hey guys, LittleBigPlanet here. Now, I know I normally don't sit in the room that I call the studio for This Is Not Event video, but for this one I'm actually going to be reviewing a game for PlayStation 3, so a little bit of formality mightn't hurt. The game I'm going to be reviewing is LittleBigPlanet 2. Now, I know what pretty much all of you are going to be saying, but Leeway, the game's been out for a month now. Why are you reviewing it now? Well, the first reason is because I've only just played it, as in I played it within the last week. And secondly, I completely forgot about it when I did the first event video last week. So I'm going to review it now, and yeah, this video will pretty much be linked to in event number 2 tomorrow. So, for those who have been living under a video game rock for the past few years, LittleBigPlanet 2, or LBP, which was the first game in the series, was a platformer that kind of borrowed a lot of cues from Sonic and Super Mario, but then kind of took those cues and became its own, as well as taking into consideration the minis and scoring and that type of stuff. You also got stuff like prizes in-game, and were able to do a few other things, but the main selling point for LittleBigPlanet was its creation features. And at the time, while it was branded a platform game, it was also kind of experiencing the beginnings of being a platform for games with its creation mode. Q had kind of actually took off the early Super Mario emulators for PC and other such consoles. Now, LBP2, or LittleBigPlanet 2, kind of continued that. It actually took everything about LittleBigPlanet 1 and added in a bunch of other stuff. So much so that the first thing it did was actually import everything from LittleBigPlanet, which is a good thing, because you want to be able to expand upon the universe, not just create a new one. The story mode in LittleBigPlanet 2 was a little bit easier than the one in LittleBigPlanet 1, given the fact that I was actually able to complete most of the levels in LittleBigPlanet 2. I'm still stuck on one, believe it or not, final one. But the creation mode is, again, being the big selling point, and they've actually promoted that side a lot more than the story mode itself. And one of the big things that they've actually brought in was the stack box. Now, these are the big things that I actually found great, because it took the NPCs from LittleBigPlanet 1 and tried to throw them out the window. Alright, because they weren't very interactive, they only spoke through the magic mouths, and in the end, they didn't really do that much. The stack box actually take it a little bit further. You can interact with them and are able to do a lot more with them than what you could with the motionless NPCs from LittleBigPlanet 1. Alright? The stack box are no longer just scenery, basically. Another thing which I'm glad that they put in was a dissolver. Now, one of the big gripes that I actually had with LittleBigPlanet 1 was the dissolve material. Not so much in the fact that it was able to dissolve, but its instability. Alright? While it could, because essentially anything that bumped the dissolve material caused it to dissolve on impact, which essentially made it relatively useless. The dissolver is actually one of the new logic bits, and it has a bit more control over what what you want to dissolve, and how it dissolves. So there's no more dissolve upon impact when you don't want it to situations. Another thing which I'm glad that they brought in was the randomizer, because now it allows me to actually make more randomly developing mazes. I suppose that's my line of it. The randomizer has a few other uses as well, but that I'll leave up to you. It also brought in a controlinator. Basically, it takes the controller and it reassigns all the buttons and levers and that type of stuff to various other action. The controlinator is very much an advanced thing, and best used for advanced creators, not for the weak, not for newbies and beginners. One last thing that I like that they've put in, and I was actually a little bit sketchy about it originally, but I can now see why they put it in, is the bounce pads. Right? Now, in LittleBigPlanet 1, you could essentially create something similar using a presence switch, a sensor, a flat construction piece, and a piston. Unfortunately though, the entire setup was a little bit unfaithful in the, well, it fell down a little bit in the fact that it basically started pumping up as soon as your SAC person came within view of it. With bounce pads, this time they only activate when you bounce on them. And that, I think, is a good thing to me, because now you have a little bit more control over areas of jumping. Overall, LittleBigPlanet 2 is pretty good. I still have a couple of gripes about it. The first is that there's still some controller issues, and that's especially true with the Creatinator. Aiming is still a little bit off, and you actually have to change your aim fairly quickly in some levels, because basically you can end up shooting in the wrong direction if you don't realize it. So you need to be a little bit aware of that. Also, LittleBigPlanet 2 contains a lot more advanced features, and unless you know what you're doing, you're better off avoiding them. But all in all, actually found LittleBigPlanet 2 to be a bit of an improvement on LittleBigPlanet 1, and I'm prepared to give it about a 9.5 out of 10. I'm going to analyse this game a little bit more on the Facebook page. I'll have a link down below, because there's a lot more stuff in there that I actually want to talk about. Stuff like the Creatinator, Gravinator, sequences. I've got a lot of new stuff out there that I want to talk about. So, links down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow for a new event video. So until then, see you all tomorrow. Bye.